Hello, and welcome to today's Zscaler launch event announcing new AI innovations in data protection. I'm Joyce Kim, CMO at Zscaler, and I'll be your host for today's event. During the next hour, you'll hear from Zscaler experts as they discuss how Zscaler's AI data protection platform will enable you to harness the power of AI to discover and secure all your data. We'll hear from Alex Phillips, CIO of NOV, on how he was able to overcome his challenges of securing data across cloud, insider threats, and AI usage. We'll also hear from key technology partners on how they're partnering with Zscaler on technical integrations that will improve your data protection. During this event, you'll have the ability to ask real-time questions and chat with experts. To ask a question, simply type the question in the Q&A window. Finally, the keynotes will be followed by technical breakout sessions, which will dive even deeper into these new innovations, so don't miss those sessions. Now, it's time to get the show started. Let's hear from Zscaler's chairman, founder, and CEO, Jay Chaudhry.
Thank you, Joyce. I'm very excited about a very significant launch of our data protection products we're having today. We have been leader in Zero Trust, and now we're adding AI along with Zero Trust to do the best data protection solution in the market. To give you a little background, we all built hub and spoke networks to protect our businesses as well as data. And we extended them with VPN, and we extended them to our partners with our B2B connections. And now we are stretching it to cloud as applications are moving to the cloud. So you can see that data is everywhere. It increases our cyber risk, it increases our data loss risk, and it adds cost and complexity. What I'm showing on the left of this diagram is a traditional network security powered by firewalls, VPNs, and the like, all network-centric. In today's mobile and cloud world, we want our customers to move to Zero Trust architecture, where every application location is merely a destination. Users are all untrusted. They could be sitting anywhere. All they need is connection to the internet. We are like a policy engine, a switchboard that connects right party to right party using a number of key attributes, starting with identity. So we are not about network security. What is there to secure in a network? It's all about securing data, and data sits either with applications or servers or users. So by securely connecting the right user to right application, we are securing data. That's the best form of security, not by trying to build a perimeter of firewalls around everything. Now, a little bit on Zero Trust architecture, because many of the legacy vendors are so worried about getting disrupted that they are co-opting Zero Trust term. Every firewall is calling themselves a Zero Trust architecture. They spin a VPN in the cloud and it becomes Zero Trust architecture. What a shame. I mean, these vendors are really creating a false sense of security. But in real Zero Trust, applications are merely destinations. Your users' devices are merely out there somewhere. They're not on a trusted network. They connect to Zscaler as an exchange, as a switchboard, where after proper authentication, after checking a number of things, including many of the risk factors, we connect the right user to right applications to make sure that nothing bad comes in and nothing good leaks out. Hence, it helps us do proper data protection. Now, we all worry about ransomware these days. I'm going to talk about it, but before that, I'll mention about the difference between a firewall-based architecture and a Zero Trust architecture. A firewall, as a CIO told me, is essentially like a bridge. Once the bridge opens up, the traffic starts flowing. Things flow left and right and north and south. And ransomware loves it because they can move wherever they want to move. In the Zero Trust architecture, pioneered by Zscaler, We're like a switchboard. A user comes to us, we stop and say stop. We validate things, and we make a point-to-point connection almost like a switchboard. Literally, it's that simple. Now, let's talk about data protection in the big scheme of things. Zscaler started with securing users when they want to access applications no matter where they are. It's giving access to data in those applications to only right users is where we started out. The next thing our customers wanted was protecting cloud data so that these workloads could be secured, the data in workloads could be secured. So we really extended our platform to do what we call securing workloads. Third area was securing IoT-OT communication because they got lots of telemetry. How do you make sure that telemetry gets sent to the right destination? We as a policy engine ensure that. Number 4, B2B. You got lots of customers, partners, suppliers who need to access applications, and you built application portals for them. Those portals can lose data. We got technology whereby you can make sure the right partner accesses them, and you can even make sure only pixels go down to the partner level and your data never gets to them. This is secure communication to protect data. Then our customers wanted us to secure data at rest. So we extended our platform to secure data in SaaS applications like Salesforce, secure data sitting on data centers, secure data sitting on endpoint, as well as data sitting in the cloud. In addition to that, recently we extended our platform to do what we call build a data cloud and AI cloud, taking all the logs, all the transactions. Now we can actually tell you what all is happening. In fact, before bad things happen, reconnaissance activity happens, and this thing can be picked up by our data cloud and AI cloud. Now, let me dig into a little bit how data loss happens, especially as a part of ransomware. I was asked by a group of CFOs to explain to them this complicated topic of ransomware in simple terms. So I came up with a simple analogy, 4 steps to rob a bank. How do you do that? Well, first you find all the bank branches. 2, you figure out which branch is easier to break into. Maybe it's in a secluded area. Perhaps surveillance camera is not working, so you break in without getting caught. Number 3, once inside the branch, you move laterally, you find the cache safe. And number 4, you run away with the cache. Perhaps a getaway car is waiting for you. Pretty simple 4 steps. Ransomware attacks are very similar. 1, they find your attack surface. What is your attack surface in the cyber world? Every IP exposed to the internet. It may be a firewall, VPN, or application portal. The bigger the attack surface, higher your risk. 2, they compromise you, often compromise a poor user or a vulnerable application. 3, as those applications, the users are on your network, they move laterally, they find high-value data, they encrypt it, ask for ransomware. And number 4, they steal your data, disrupt your operations, and that stolen data often gets sent to the internet. Zscaler was pioneered to really make sure we can block these things at each of the 4 steps. We minimize your attack surface by hiding your applications behind us. We prevent compromise, and we prevent lateral movement since we connect users only to applications, not to the network. And since we're sitting in line inspecting everything that goes out, we can make sure we can prevent data loss or data exfiltration. You know, we have been focused on unified data protection for a long time. Our offerings fall in 3 broad buckets: AI discovery and classification using AI ML. It all starts with knowing where your data is and what class does it fall in. Second was posture control. Posture, configurations control, whether the data is sitting in SaaS applications or cloud or elsewhere as well. Third is preventing data from leaking out, as it often leaks out to the internet. These three things are in place. Now, we aren't stopping there. We're announcing a number of new innovations to take our data protection to the next level. And this announcement falls in four main buckets. Number one, DSPM. This is about securing public cloud as well as the data. Very exciting, new, significant, new market. Second, JNI Security. AI is becoming a big risk for everyone. How do you use it securely? Because you can't just block it outright. That's not a good thing. Number three, securing email data. The email channel. We have always done the webmail channel. This is traditional Microsoft email channel. And how do you secure it? And four, there are a number of additional enhancements in many areas, perhaps data lineage and many more features. You're going to hear about these four areas soon, but let me wrap up by saying that our comprehensive data protection makes sure we really protect your data everywhere. Doesn't matter where it's sitting, we make sure every channel is secure. It may web, it may be email and others, and every device. Could be laptops, could be servers, and could be mobile phones. So with that, I'd like to invite Moinul Khan, our Head of Product Management, to give us a deeper view of it.
Thank you, Jay. Good morning. It's wonderful to see everyone here. Today marks a significant milestone as we unveil groundbreaking data protection capabilities that demonstrates the vision we set nearly 5 years ago. Our aim was clear: to provide unparalleled, fully integrated data protection that empowers organizations to safeguard their most critical assets and sensitive information. For far too long, the approach to data security has been shackled by the constraints of compliance and incident management. Yet, in the face of rampant data breaches impacting organizations worldwide, it is necessary that we all transition from regulatory checkboxes and address the genuine security challenges we all have ahead of us. Traditional data loss prevention solutions have fallen short of meeting the true needs of organizations. Many have found themselves burdened by necessity to deploy multiple DLP products, each addressing different facets of security. This fragmented approach with disjointed solutions for on-premises, endpoint, web traffic, cloud environments, and more has only compounded the complexity. Managing and maintaining a wide range of DLP engines has become a complex task with diminishing returns on investment and no guarantee of security. Today, this is a remarkable day for Zscaler data security. The speed of innovation in this company never slows down. With our latest announcement, we not only tackle real-world security threats, but also streamline the convoluted landscape of data protection programs that have challenged the industry for too long. Before delving into our latest innovation, let's reflect on our journey thus far. When we started our journey, we needed an architecture that can scale and perform. We decided to utilize our existing Zero Trust architecture. We have the biggest cloud in the world, and we are hosting the service from 150 global data centers around the world. Our cloud is inspecting 400 billion internet transactions every single day. That allowed us to build a very scaled architecture that can do SSL inspection. On top of this architecture, we built a visibility stack for data discovery and monitoring. Our Shadow IT report, third-party app security, Shadow AI, gives organization a complete visibility of their risky application as well as their data. On the policy enforcement side, we built hundreds of dictionaries and engines. For advanced data classification, we did EDM for structured data, IDM for unstructured data, OCR to protect your sensitive data in handwritten text. And there are lots of actions available where you can block the transaction, allow the transaction, coach your user, notify your user. And we have done all of that for your web traffic, for your email traffic, for SaaS-based services, for your public cloud infrastructure data, private applications, endpoint, as well as BYOD. And the entire stack is fully supported by workflow automation that significantly reduces complexity for your admins as well as creates a great user experience. And now we proudly introduce 3 groundbreaking capabilities. First, data security posture management for leading cloud platforms, safeguarding both structured and unstructured data. Second, cutting-edge JNI Security capabilities, enabling real-time discovery and governance of AI applications. Third, enhanced email DLP with our SMTP relay solution, bolstering our email security suite. In addition, we are enhancing our existing platform by extending AI and ML-powered auto data discovery for all data at rest locations. We are also enhancing unified SaaS data security with a powerful correlation engine combining SSPM, SaaS supply chain security, out-of-band API-based data at rest scanning with a deep analysis of SaaS user activities. During the next few minutes, we are going to delve deeper into these new innovations. First, let's start with DSPM, Data Security Posture Management to secure your public cloud data. The standalone DSPM vendor talks about data security posture management with the lens of only public cloud data. In Zscaler, we do not think that DSPM in isolation is a good idea. Remember, you have sensitive data going out to the web, going out to the SaaS application. You have sensitive data on your private apps, on endpoint, through email. And therefore, we have put together a very comprehensive data security posture management by combining all our data security across all channels. We have taken our market-proven data classification engine, combined it with cloud security posture management, cloud infrastructure entitlement management, and vulnerability assessment, and delivered highly correlated, very powerful engine that focuses on high priority risk in public cloud infrastructure. Now, I'm happy to introduce Kaylee to demonstrate DSPM in detail.
Thank you, Moinol. So, as we all know by now, context is key, especially when it comes to your data in the public cloud. So as a security personnel, my first line of action is to first figure out what type of data do I have in the cloud and where they're currently stored. And that's exactly where our journey is going to begin here on our DSPM dashboard, specifically on our data discovery overview. Right off the bat, I see all of my data across all of my public cloud already classified. Now, if I were to click on any of the data types here, let's go with HIPAA, I'll get an expanded view of all of my HIPAA data from where it's stored to the data region, as well as what type of data. Now, this is a great overview and all, but what if I need more visibility? Well, I can click on US East, and here I can get granular details of all of my data down to a data store level. So here's a good example of an EC2. I get a nice correlated view of internet exposure or who has access. I also see 2 volumes that contain a ton of sensitive data. Now, if I move over to the sensitive data tab, I can get an even further breakdown of all of my sensitive data affiliated with this EC2. I can get an inventory list with information such as data type, file size, as well as the dictionaries that were used to classify it. So again, for security teams, this is a lot of context on how to classify your data as well as where it's being stored, which is fantastic. So now that I have all of this context, my next line of action is to figure out how secured is my data? Are there any exposures or vulnerability, or simply what's the overall security posture of it? So my mission is going to continue back on our dashboard, scrolling down to our risk widget, and here I see our top risky data stores. I see an overview of the exposure down to the data governance for compliance purposes. Now, if I want to investigate further on why this data store is considered risky, I can simply click on the 4 open alerts here, and it'll bring me to the first alert on our alert dashboard. So here I see this S3 bucket. It contains a ton of confidential information such as legal and tax documents. Now, interestingly, I also see that individually, this S3 bucket's security posture is actually relatively safe. We have backup enabled as well as DR enabled, so overall, the risk of this is relatively low. Now, the beauty of our DSPM solution is our ability to aggregate exposure and vulnerability to this larger risk view. Because there could be a VM that has access to this S3 bucket that could contain vulnerabilities or be publicly exposed. And that's exactly what we see here. There's 10 services, so let's investigate that. And of course, within here, we see that there are a ton of vulnerabilities and that has also been publicly exposed to the internet. So I want to investigate this further through the public exposure path. And here it's going to bring me to an EC2 that has been publicly exposed to the internet. It's going to give me a full mapping from the access group all the way to the internet gateway. Now, I also see that my DSPM solution is proactively notifying me that the issue could lie on the security group, which is why I see that exclamation point. So I'm going to click on that to check it out. And of course, here, without any cloud or security expertise, I can automatically identify my root cause, which is this inbound rule providing direct access. So again, this is the strength of our attack path analysis and correlation capability on our DSPM solution that is unique to Zscaler. To simply remediate, we can head over to the remediation tab, and here it'll give us a step-by-step guide on how we can fix the issue and ensure that our data is protected. That is the power of our fully integrated DSPM solution. Back over to you, Moinal.
Thank you, Kaylee. Now let's talk about JNI Security, which is on top of mind for every organization. Your users are using ChatGPT, Gemini, and hundreds of JNI applications in the web. There are 5 things Zscaler want to recommend for you to secure your data. First, you need to have full visibility. How many applications are here? How many users are using them? How they're using them? The second step, you need to block some of the risky JNI application. Step number 3, blocking all JNI applications are not going to work. You cannot be sledgehammer all the time. So control some of these applications with granular activities. Fourth, you need to have fully integrated data protection for all these applications. And last but not least, workflow automation will ease your admin experience and ease of usability. In order for you to do all of that, our man-in-the-middle proxy will give you the full visibility of every single application that your users are using. And when it's time to enforce policy, leverage our cloud app control, browser isolation, and inline data protection to secure your data that is at risk with these JNI applications. And now, I would like to introduce Steve to demonstrate JNI Security in detail.
Thanks, Moinal. Zscaler's new approach to JNI Security is a powerful way to not only understand what applications are in your environment, but how your users are interacting with them, all so that you can make better blocking decisions. Let's see what that would look like in your organization. When we look at our dashboard, right off the bat, we can see that we have 92 JNI applications in use, and that sensitive data is getting sent to them. Now, your first question might be, is that a lot of applications? If we use peer comparison, we can compare our AI applications with other similar organizations, and you can see that we are trending a little bit higher. If you wanted to, you could also compare yourself across number of prompts, users, and data transferred. Your next question might be, what type of sensitive data is leaking to AI applications? If we look here, you can see we're filtered by ChatGPT, and both business and employee data are the most popular data that's getting lost. Lastly, you may also want to understand what type of distribution is across your environment. What's concerning to me is that research and development is using AI, and I'm most concerned about losing source code. So this warrants further investigation. Now here's where Zscaler solution takes it to the next level. If we select View Prompts, we can see for every user, the AI application that they're using and the actual input prompt that was sent to that application. This gives you tremendous contextual visibility to, again, make better blocking decisions. In this case, I'm laser focused on source code, and I do see it leaking to ChatGPT, so this is something I'm going to want to block. Now here's where Zscaler could help you block it. Two ways. First is through Cloud App Control. If we go to our policy, you see we've got an extensive catalog of AI applications that we can select from. We're going to select ChatGPT, and now we're going to select an action to it. And here's where it gets interesting. In addition to caution and block, we can also isolate. This allows you to take the user and ChatGPT and isolate it in a cloud browser. You can think of this as an enterprise security browser, but only when you need it. This allows you to do really cool policies like preventing cutting and pasting from the device into ChatGPT, but anything organically created in that session could be copied out. The other way you can block this is through DLP inspection. If we look at our DLP policy, again, we're going to select the application ChatGPT, but now we're going to leverage one of our predefined DLP dictionaries for source code. Once we apply that, all we have to do now is set it to block. Anytime a user is using ChatGPT and our DLP classifies that as source code, we'll be able to block it. But we can still keep the user productive using ChatGPT for other non-sensitive data. So as you can see, we've brought together everything in one place so that you can better see and control GenAI applications. Moinal, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. Now let's talk about secure email data. 18% of data breaches are happening today because of email application. In the past, we tried to protect your sensitive data from personal email applications. At the same time, for corporate Exchange and Gmail, we protected your data with our out-of-band API-based data at rest scanning. And today, we are introducing an SMTP relay to protect your Exchange and Gmail data inline at real time. Instead of becoming a secure email gateway or MTA, we will simply forward your email traffic from Exchange and Google to our SMTP relay. Using the same integrated classification engine, we are going to be able to inspect the subject, the body, and attachment, and be able to give a verdict back to Exchange and Gmail. And Microsoft and Google will decide based on our verdict which email to release and which email to block. Now let's talk about a couple of additional enhancements that expands our platform. First, I would like to talk about AI and ML-based auto data discovery. Every DLP products that is out there, these are rule-based DLP products. You need to build hundreds of policies. You need to build hundreds of dictionaries to monitor your data, to discover your data. We wanted to take that complexity out of the picture. So almost a year ago, we released our AI ML-based auto data discovery for inline. Whatever data that we have seen on the wire, behind the scene, we used a supervised and unsupervised model. We used protocols like stemming, lemmatization, natural language processing. With that feature in place, when admin goes to our data discovery dashboard, they will be able to see all the sensitive documents that are leaving the premise. You can slice and dice the data based on your violators, based on your top users, based on application, and based on different data types. With this new release, we are now introducing auto data discovery for all your data at rest location. You will be able to achieve the same thing on your data on the endpoint. And once again, we are going to be able to build that complete inventory so that you know exactly which user in your organization contains sensitive data. And remember, you also have petabytes of data sitting in AWS, Azure, and GCP. Some of the data are structured data, some of the data are unstructured data. Using our AI and ML auto data discovery, you will be able to answer a very basic question. Where is my sensitive data? Who has access to my data? And where is it heading? Now let's talk about unified SaaS data security. Remember, when you are using SaaS platforms like Office 365, Google, Salesforce, and Slack, you probably have terabytes of data already sitting in the cloud. With this announcement today, we are combining different SaaS security technology and delivering a unified SaaS data security. We are taking SaaS security posture management, our SSPM solution, to look at your misconfigurations and compliance violation. We are combining that information with our SaaS supply chain security module. We are also utilizing our out-of-band API-based connection to scan your data at rest. And last but not least, we are looking at millions of user activities that are happening in the cloud. By combining all of those signals, we have built a very powerful correlation engine. Now, let's see this module in action. When I log in, the first thing I'm going to have to figure out, do I have cloud misconfiguration? In this particular environment, I'm seeing a violation that says multi-factor authentication is not turned on. And when I look at how is it impacting my company's compliance posture, the information is readily available to me. Now, do I have another misconfiguration that I need to pay attention to? Sure enough, there is a misconfiguration that allows third-party application to connect to my major SaaS platforms. When I want to dig deeper, and when I click on this violation, I'm seeing this application called OneDrive Free Client. The module tells me that OneDrive Free Client is a high-risk application because it is an open source app. The code can be found out in the cloud. At the same time, OneDrive Free Client leaks a lot of secrets. And because this OneDrive Free Client is connected to my corporate OneDrive, lots of external users have access to my data. And sure enough, when I look at my environment, this particular user has access to a lot of sensitive information. Now, at the same time, I'm looking at what exactly the user is doing with this access permission. And I can see this external user have access to all my sensitive data. With these groundbreaking capabilities, we proudly offer the industry's most comprehensive AI/ML powered data security solution. We are the only vendor in the world who is protecting your structured data and unstructured data for data in motion, data at rest, and data in use. And we are doing this across all your potential exfiltration channel that includes web, SaaS, public cloud infrastructure, private application, email endpoint, as well as BYOD. Now let's hear directly from some of our valued customers and their experience in how they solved their data protection challenges.
We're in our third year leveraging ZIA, ZPA, ZDX, and data protection, truly enabling our hybrid workforce to work from anywhere.
Data protection is more than just DLP for us. We need to ensure protections across all egress points and ensure everything in our environment, including our information to the public cloud, is secured as well.
Whether that data is user data, customer data, intellectual property, or a myriad of others, knowing where data lives, who or what can access it, and how it transits systems and services are critical to being able to secure it.
As a technology company, we're focused on innovation, and generative AI is an area we're investing in. I'm looking forward to this upcoming release and the additional data protection features to help me improve the secure enablement of Gen AI across the company.
We deployed the Zscaler portfolio successfully almost 2 years ago now, embracing ZTNA and integrating advanced data protection into our environment.
Blackbaud has an AI council that is obviously concerned about AI security. I'm really excited about Zscaler's visibility into the world of AI and understanding what information is being inserted into generative AI prompts, so we can better protect ourselves from newer technologies as they arise.
Zscaler provided us additional capability in that space that we lacked with our previous product. It also integrated several products into one.
Thank you, Zscaler team, for your continued partnership.
Now, I'm happy to introduce Alex Phillips, CIO of NOV. Alex, it's great to see you.
Good to see you.
Alex, tell us a little bit about your data protection journey. When you think about data security, what are your organization's top priority? What comes to your mind?
When we think about it in three areas. And the first would be the external attackers. How do we make sure they're not able to get in to steal our data? The second would be more of our internal threat, employees that may steal. And then finally, the third would be more accidental disclosure of our intellectual property.
You know, very much aligned with what I'm hearing from other organizations. Now tell me, what has been done so far? What are the things that you have implemented today to protect your crown jewels, intellectual property, sensitive data?
So starting with the external attackers, we implemented Zscaler's protections across our enterprise. So we're able to protect as we're surfing the internet. We've also implemented Zero Trust VPN solution that Zscaler offers. Yeah. So we're able to have our employees access our internal resources. And then we've taken a little bit more of an insider look and implemented many of the DLP technologies from, I view it as the Zscaler toolkit. How do we identify what we need to protect and how do we gain visibility into those items?
Great. So, you know, you have real-time inline data loss prevention that is looking at all your web traffic, SaaS-based application, correct?
Correct.
So today, you know, as you saw, we introduced, you know, some of the greatest technology, great innovations. What are these capabilities? You know, these features that we introduce, do they align with your priority for the next 12, 18 months?
They do, and I love it when I see one of our partners listen to feedback. And we've had a number of areas where we're really, really excited that you guys have introduced some of these new capabilities. The first for me being our AI. AI is everywhere. We're constantly looking at how do we utilize mostly generative AI to advance our own products and our own company. And we have a very open approach to this with guidelines in place. But I'm always wondering, what are they really asking AI? What are they uploading to some of these AIs that are not internal, that are out on the internet? And so having the ability to be able to see what's being asked and even the responses back is going to be huge for us. Visibility is key. It's the first step. And then we can make decisions on what do we need to do. The endpoint, because we already have your endpoint agent on all of our devices for ZPA and protection while they're not within the confines of our network, being able to have DLP integrated in and to be able to categorize data that we may not have categorized. That's very, very important for us because it'll help us be able to bucket and figure out policies that we're going to want to apply to that. And then the other piece that I'm really excited about that some people may think is a little bit odd is actually email. Having consistent policies and posture across the enterprise and centralized logging and visibility is key to help us in our journey to protect and to understand how our data is flowing to our partners and to our vendors and to our customers and what that data is. So very excited about those three pieces.
Yeah, this is amazing. If you look at our journey for the last 5 years, the number one focus has been how do we reduce that complexity of the stack? The goal was to really have a fully integrated classification engine that protects all your channels. So it's amazing. Why don't you talk about a little bit about, you know, best practices? What are the things that you have learned over the years that, you know, is really, really critical for the data protection journey?
It's interesting as we explore data protection and the importance, especially in this day and age, where intellectual property is the key to being successful as a company. Visibility is the first step. And if you don't have visibility, you're blind. And so some of the pieces that Zscaler has, I like to call it the toolkit, SSL decryption, being able to actually see what data is flowing, and then being able to then make an intelligent decision. What should we do? Should we block? Should we prompt? Should we give a little bit of nudges to the users. Actually, maybe you should do this or that. And so
coaching and notification.
Coaching is huge.
Yeah.
And so we've done that quite a bit on various things. The other piece is understanding what real traffic flows are. You're going to be surprised. We've found things that our employees were doing to get their job done that didn't necessarily follow our policies and put some of our data at jeopardy, at risk. And so being able to have visibility into that and then be able to coach them and work with them to find a way for them to accomplish their job in a safe manner for our data. Those have been really, really key to us. And then the other piece that I really, really love are all the different pieces of the toolkit that I may not realize I need today, but then I run across a challenge and I'm able to use cloud browser isolation to enable my employees to still be able to go to that site. But I can say, no, I'm not going to allow you to upload PDFs to an online PDF editor. You can download PDFs from them, but I'm not going to let you upload them. I'm going to let you check your personal email, but I'm not going to let you upload files to it. Just pieces like that that help plug those holes and plug those gaps when we see our data moving is very, very important. And the other best practice that I would have to say is logging. Having that centralized log of all this information and being able to parse it and understand what's really going on with your data, it's many times eye-opening.
So I'm hearing two things: crawl, walk, run. And then the second thing is don't try to be sledgehammer. Allow the collaboration, but at the same time, do granular control so that you can protect your sensitive data. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I can't paralyze the business. Data has to flow. And sometimes that flow appears risky. Being able to understand and see it is key. And definitely on you've got to look for those quick wins. As you find pain points in your journey, you've got to find the quick wins and how can I quickly come up with a solution that not only provides protection, but still allows your employee to do their job.
Excellent. Alex, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You have heard some exciting innovations today on how we leverage and secure AI using the power of Zscaler Zero Trust Exchange. Another significant advantage of leveraging our Zero Trust platform is the depth of amazing technology partner integrations that solve real-world problems for our joint customers. To hear about these joint integrations, I would like to hand it over to Punit Minocha.
Hello everyone, my name is Punit Minocha. I run Business Corp Dev here at Zscaler. We have always believed that security is a team sport. It's best done by focusing on what you do well and then working with partners to drive meaningful value for our customers and partners. That extends to data protection as well. We pride ourselves in being a data protection leader, providing data protection across all channels. We have also brought along some of our strongest integrations with partners. With Cohesity, you have a vendor that is particularly strong in secondary data storage. Coupling that with data in motion from Zscaler provides a very valuable solution for our customers. I'm really excited to have on stage with me the President and CEO of Cohesity, Mr. Sanjay Punit. Sanjay, good morning. Tell us a little about Cohesity.
Cohesity's mission is to protect, secure, and provide insights into the world's data. The largest companies in the world today use us to, really get what we call business resilience. And at the core of that data, you can think of data like an iceberg, primary data and secondary data. We specialize in managing, securing, and providing insights, that's secondary data. So all of the world's data at rest sits on our platform. And with the imminent Veritas transaction, we will have hundreds of exabytes on our platform. You folks are the best at data in motion.
That's right.
As I've seen this from all of the success of your SASE and cloud security and so on. So when you marry data at rest with data in motion, you get magic.
We all know, given what is going on with security, the real attack vectors, the ransomware, if you will, out there, is all after the data. We are obviously focused on the data in motion. Since you mentioned data and secondary data, what is Cohesity doing?
So it starts with the fact that we have hundreds of exabytes of data on our platform, 100x more than anybody in our platform.
Right.
How do you add these two cherries on top of that, like security and AI? And the security part's where we could also be doing more in AI too. But in security, we're very excited because as you have been doing things in that area, this data security at rest or in motion leads to scenarios like double extortion ransomware protection, which we can talk about, which we've really done very well together and pioneered a best-of-breed joint solution. But we're also excited about your aspirations in data security posture management. Our choice is to integrate deeply with the best tech you do because we think cloud security posture management and data security posture management are going to be one platform, and you're pioneering that path.
Let's first start with the double extortion ransomware, right? Obviously, you guys have the data at rest. You're able to classify the data. You're able to look at all the sensitive data. We come at it from a data protection standpoint. Obviously, we have multiple ways of doing that classification where you guys have the data that is at rest. You provide some classification. We then fingerprint that data. And then, depending on if a customer gets compromised and we see that data being exfiltrated through our communication channel, then obviously we can stop it. What are you hearing from customers as it relates to that integration with double extortion ransomware and how that's playing out?
So you exactly said right. We have on secondary data, we're operating on secondary data, meaning hundreds of exabytes of that bottom of the iceberg, so to speak. We can classify the data, and let's just take the scenario you're talking about. Unstructured data, a PDF file, may have PII information inside it. We can detect that. And of course, because our data is immutable, encrypted, we protect that scenario. But if we can pass that information on to you, you use your signature, your capabilities, all of your fingerprinting off that to potentially not allow that file to leave. And then of course you multiply this file times 1 million because often you're talking about 1 million PDFs. We're not talking about just one file.
That's right.
You do this at scale. This is a beautiful solution.
Since you brought up DSPM, my take on that is you do have to have a data protection mindset, for a more holistic one that is not only looking at data in motion. We started with proxy communication, we added CASB, over time we added endpoint DLP, now we're adding some DSPM. That holistic view allows us to create those thousands of dictionaries and look at all channels.
I think you have all of the potential to be a next generation DLP type vendor. Data leakage, you're seeing so much data. So the idea that we're going to have a partnership on data.
That's right.
You should look at us and your customers should look at us as a repository of all secondary data. And I think there's some angles there that Zscaler and us could also work. So the good news is you guys are an innovator, we're an innovator. If we can continue this trend, I think the sky's the limit of what we can do together.
Yeah, if anything, it feels to me like we're just getting started.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think there's a few use cases that our customers will see instant benefit from, and then, providing a longer term roadmap of all the goodness that we can bring to our joint customers is probably what gets both of us very excited. Well, thank you, Sanjay. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I think we're just getting started. Looking forward to a very wonderful and, exciting partnership.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
These are powerful integrations that greatly simplify and improve data protection for our mutual customers and provide a phenomenal joint value proposition. It's clear that the power of Zscaler's Zero Trust ecosystem, combined with forward-thinking technology partners, continues to solve real-world problems. Today, you saw how Zscaler introduced game-changing innovations in data protection and AI. These new innovations allow organizations to reduce the complexity of finding and classifying data, wherever it resides, while greatly increasing data protection effectiveness. That brings us to the end of the main session for our event. I'd like to thank each of you for spending your valuable time with us. But the event's not over yet, because the technical breakouts are starting now, where we'll go even deeper with demos and discussions to learn even more about Zscaler's data protection capabilities and the new innovations you heard about today. Go to zscaler.com/data-protection. And finally, don't forget to register for Zenith Live 2024 in Las Vegas, and The Hague in June. It's a great opportunity to meet with industry experts on the latest in Zero Trust and AI security. Thank you again, and I'll see you at the technical breakouts starting now.